Hi, this is Dave Duranjo. In this video, I'll outline the structure and core premise of my master's thesis. The paper begins with an introduction that establishes the context, industry scope, problem statements, and motivations for the study. The research examines how Broadway musicians currently monitor sound during live performance, with a particular focus on stereo in-ear monitoring systems and the potential application of binaural audio technologies. As a working bassist in the Broadway pit, I spend a great deal of time using these systems in real-world conditions, and this project is grounded in that experience. At its core, the thesis asks whether stereo-based monitoring, despite its widespread use, fully and effectively supports the perceptual demands of musicians working in complex performance environments like Broadway. It argues that binaural in-ear monitoring represents a logical and advantageous step forward. From there, my literature review traces the development of monitoring systems within the Broadway industry, particularly as theatrical productions adopted a more recording studio-like approach to live sound reinforcement. As productions became increasingly complex from the 1960s onward, monitoring technologies evolved alongside, eventually leading to the widespread use of individualized playback solutions. I then introduce key concepts of binaural audio, along with ideas that explain how humans localize sound in 3 dimensions. I reference several studies that explore binaural monitoring in controlled experimental conditions, including research by Valentin Bauer, Elias Zea, Dmitry Zurplatov, and Amandine Pras. The next section presents 2 professional site visits I conducted in spring 2026. The first was to Autograph A2D, a theatrical sound design studio and training facility for Broadway front-of-house mixers. A2D maintains multi-track recordings from several current Broadway productions and serves as a U.S. distributor for Klang Technologies. My second site visit was to the New York Theater Workshop during the run of the original indie folk musical My Joy is Heavy by the Bengsons. During this visit, I was fortunate to participate in a real-time pit sit, where I both actively monitored the show and attenuated my own binaural in-ear mix. This was my first hands-on experience with the Klang system in a live setting. My Joy is Heavy represents one of the first documented uses of Klang, and by extension, binaural in-ear monitoring, in a Broadway-adjacent professional setting. What stood out to me immediately was the level of spatial clarity and separation compared to traditional stereo monitoring. Based on these 2 experiences in the field, binaural monitoring appears not only viable, but a meaningful step forward in how musicians can monitor live sound in the future. In the last phase of the thesis, I analyzed the results of an exploratory survey of 20 Broadway musicians. The survey focused on their current monitoring practices, the challenges they encounter, and their openness to alternative approaches. Across participants, stereo in-ear monitoring systems were widely used and generally considered effective. However, several significant limitations emerged. Many participants reported difficulty in clearly discerning individual sound sources within dense mixes, particularly in situations where overlapping frequencies contribute to perceptual masking and reduce clarity within the stereo field. There were also consistent reports of hearing fatigue over extended performances, often attributed to increasing a mix's overall volume in the pursuit of hearing metronomes clearly. Participants expressed openness to binaural in-ear monitoring, provided the systems remained compatible with their existing hardware, typically custom-molded IAMs, and that the hardware interfaces of binaural monitoring systems be at least as intuitive as the stereo monitoring devices they were already accustomed to. Overall, these findings suggest that while stereo monitoring is a highly effective current paradigm, it may not fully support the perceptual demands of increasingly complex performance environments such as Broadway. Both the field observations and survey responses point towards a consistent theme. Professional musicians value clarity and separation, but achieving that within a stereo framework can be limiting. Binaural monitoring, particularly through systems like Klang, offers a more spatially detailed and intuitive listening experience and represents a compelling direction for future development.